President Barack Obama's administration has decided to let the assisted reproductive industry sell U.S. citizenship and access to the U.S. welfare system to foreign parents who will never set foot in the United States. The fertility clinics will be able to pocket the profits and grant access to American education, health, welfare, and retirement services to the foreign children and the foreign parents.
As President Obama continues to hold executive action on immigration as a weapon against opponents, quietly, there has been another development that has more than a few people seething, allowing the surrogate birth industry to, as some would put it, sell American citizenship to foreign parents who never set foot in the United States. Welcome to MidPoint. Founder of the Fertility Institutes, located in the United States, Mexico, and India, Dr. Jeffrey Steinberg joins us. Dr. Steinberg, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Dr. Steinberg, is this something that your offices around the world come in contact with on a regular basis?
We do come in contact with this. You know, there's a tremendous shortage of surrogates in the United States. And of course, we seek surrogate mother assistance abroad as well. So we see American patients and foreign patients that need surrogate mothers. The American surrogate mothers have always been the preference, but we've basically, the well is dry. So we're now looking out to the foreign surrogate mothers in the countries that allow surrogacy.
Now, if I read this correctly, this is a policy where a mother who meets a certain definition but does not have a genetic relationship with her child, for example, becomes pregnant through an egg donor, can transmit their U.S. citizenship to her child if she's a citizen and all of the pertinent citizenship requirements are met, but also, and again, I'm going to use a phrase that I know a lot of people are going to be very harsh about, but let's just use it. The instance of having a baby born here in America that then becomes an anchor for the mother and for the parents to then become automatic citizens. Am I reading this all correctly?
Well, you've got most of it correct. Basically, what goes on is if a U.S. surrogate delivers a baby in the United States through our Constitution, that baby's an American citizen. Now, prior to the recent changes, as far as we can tell, the parents were not entitled to citizenship because of that. And again, no one knows exactly what's going on with the law. It's like everything in the immigration policy. No one's quite sure what's happening. But it appears as though there is a tendency in the wording of the new law to allow these foreign parents, through their American-born baby, to now become citizens.
Is this not, in many cases, and I know you're not an attorney on this, but does this not circumvent American immigration law?
You know, it depends on what you define as American immigration law and how you define circumventing. Again, you know, the parents have a U.S.-born baby, so the baby's an American citizen. And the laws are fairly nebulous on this, although the new wording appears to indicate that they're going to make it a lot easier for those parents because of the anchor baby to achieve U.S. citizenship. If not automatically by default, gain citizenship. Do
we know again, and again, this might be something that I'm not sure if you keep in records or not, but do we know if the mothers who are from out of the United States, who are hiring the surrogate mothers here in America to have children, are they unable to have children, or are they doing this, or are they able to have children and simply doing this as an immigration ploy?
I think 90% to 95% are unable to have children. They really need the assistance of the surrogates. But there's definitely a group, and we see them fairly often, that really want a baby born in the United States.
Are you fearful, though, that your group getting involved in it could be, and again, I think you put it very well when you say we really don't know what immigration law is right now because it's probably going to change any minute, it might be changing as we speak, that you might be, in essence, breaking the law or helping to aid and abet some sort of a quote-unquote criminal activity. Is there any fear of that?
We're very sensitive to that. And basically, we've got the world's best U.S. immigration and surrogacy attorneys involved in every single case. In other words, I don't write the contracts, I don't study the laws, I just make sure, and the word to the attorneys is, make sure everything is 100% legal, 100% legitimate, and intended to protect both the baby, the parents, and if there's an egg donor, the egg donor. So we're, as far as I know, in compliance with the law. The intent is not to break the law. The intent is basically to help women that otherwise aren't going to be able to have babies.
I know you probably are going to be not answer this, but I have to ask anyway. Is there a personal opinion that you have about this? Is when it comes down to a mother just wanting to have a baby in America simply for the purpose of becoming an American citizen, do you have a personal opinion? That's using a child.
It's not only a personal opinion, it's a medical opinion. In other words, putting a surrogate through a pregnancy is not as benign as we might make it sound. In other words, the surrogates have to go through medical treatments, the donors have to go through medical treatments. So I have no problem helping people if no one has the potential to be hurt. But clearly any pregnancy, even a couple that goes home and makes their own baby, there are complications associated with pregnancy. So if there's a real good reason to become pregnant, great. But if it's done to circumvent U.S. law, I do have a personal and medical problem with that.
All right, now talk to me a little bit about not the medical side, but the legal side of things. If you have a problem with it, then how careful are you to make sure that you're not breaking the law? You said you already have lawyers here, but then if you have a problem with it, why do you do it?
Well, because we haven't broken the law. In other words, every single contract and every single opinion that I've gotten from an attorney has been that this is fine. And again, we've had no couples try to claim U.S. citizenship based on the birth of a child to a U.S. surrogate mother. Now, again, the rules are changing. So our red flags are up, and we're watching very cautiously. And there may come a point where if I feel that this is what's going to happen, we're going to circumvent law, that I'll turn those patients away.
So you are looking at this moment right now of putting it on a day-by-day, depending on what happens with the various immigration policies.
It absolutely is day by day because, again, immigration policy, we're waiting to hear what's coming. And again, we'll react as we get the information.
Do you have a special or do you have a specific personal opinion on what you would like to see happen with American immigration policy that would affect this situation?
You know, I'm not a politician and I'm not an attorney, and really, you know, it's I leave it up to what's going on. I think that the system is definitely broken. In other words, if I want to hire a foreign scientist that's highly skilled and I can't find a U.S. scientist after 3 years of advertising, I can't get visas for those scientists. So the system is broken and it affects us in a horrible way. So I'm hoping for a decent fix.
You have offices in the United States, Mexico, and India. Is there any specific place where a lot of your women-seeking anchors are coming from?
You know, again, we don't have a lot seeking anchors because this is all new. This is all new. I would say we see China and primarily China. I think that's the biggest source.
You don't get a lot from Mexico at this point?
No, we don't. We don't.
How many, do you know offhand how many you've done at this point?
How many surrogate mothers?
Sure, how many surrogates you've had?
In excess of 1,000.
In excess of 1,000, and we'll have to wait and see what the immigration policy says about this as well, because
we are waiting. Believe me, we are waiting.
It sounds like that, and I'll tell you what. As soon as we get that policy set up, I think we're going to talk to you again about this. Dr. Jeffrey Steinberg, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Take care.
All right, you too. Coming up later, right here on MidPoint, science fiction comes into play over American military drones. Anybody ever see the movie Avengers? You might get an idea. That and more coming up right here on MidPoint.